I've been playing Geometry Dash since early 2014. Now, 12 years later, I've managed to beat 50 extreme demons. So today, I wanted to rank all 50 extremes I've completed, along with some commentary about each one. Each ranking will be determined by 4 different variables weighted differently based on what I think matters most. First is the gameplay score, which is 65% of the total score. Next is decoration, which is 25% of the total score. The song will be 5% of the total score. Lastly is the experience score, which will also make up 5% of the total score. You'll also notice that there's more than 50 entries on this list. This is because I included unrated and downgraded extremes as well, just for some extra content. Also, thank you to Technical for inspiring this video. Now, with that all out of the way, let's get started. Coming up at the very bottom, we have... I know this is a popular entry extreme for most, and I can see why. It just doesn't change the fact that this was incredibly frustrating throughout. The entire level just felt like it was supposed to be a 7-star, but it got super buffed to be an extreme. The deco is also just kind of mid to me, I don't know, nothing special. It was extremely boring, and it felt like I was bashing my head against a brick wall over and over. By far the worst in the trilogy. Outside of the fact that this level just does not live up to the other two at all, this was just so to me, I don't know. It looks exactly the same as Cataclysm, and the gameplay was extremely awkward throughout, especially the first wave, which was the most awkward thing I've had to do in Extreme. I get this isn't supposed to be the most serious level, I mean just look at it, but I just can't ignore that the gameplay was just very boring the whole way through. Just straight fly after straight fly after straight fly. Although I do consider myself good at ship, this level somehow made the ship game mode feel very weird and unnatural, even though it's just straight fly. This was my first ever Extreme. It was so long ago, so long in fact that I got downgraded to an insane, which I do agree with. I just don't remember much at all. I just know that I struggled with the 40 ship a lot, and the balancing is absolutely horrid. I also have no memory of this. The first wave I struggled with a lot. The second half though was free as hell. I've always been better at the ship game mode, so the slow ship never bothered me. Man, what's with these entry extremes being so low? The pre-drop and ending being as stupid as it is completely ruins the flow of the level. As I think the drop is pretty fun and consistent, the pre-drop and ending just made me feel like I was walking on eggshells every time I click, which is not a good feeling. Especially with nerves. Absolutely horrible experience as well. At least the deco was nice and it fits the song really well. Definitely my worst experience on a level so far. I've always hated setup timings where one click determines the next few inputs, and guess what 90% of this level is? Yeah, 100% the most inconsistent level I've ever played. But hey, the song is fire and the deco's alright. This level is quite literally Spectrum Cyclone if it was bad. The more I played it, the more annoying and frustrating the level got. Every death literally just felt like I lost a coin flip. It just seemed like Just John made every wrong decision balancing and bug fixing this level. I do however love the deco, as the colors and movements make every part feel like a party. Which makes sense for a level named Jamboree. I just picked the easiest extreme at the time and decided to try and beat it. I hated it, gave up for a few months, and then beat it in like 20 minutes. Literally nothing special. Kinda just reminds me of Ethereal Artifice if it was 10 times worse. This is the lowest attempt count I have on an extreme to date, being 435. I got lucky as hell. Despite that, the level still kinda just sucks. I mean, I can't say much, I beat this in like 45 minutes. The deco is nothing to write home about. I do like the colors though. This level is the definition of awkward and unnatural. Each and every click just didn't feel right, I don't know. The ship parts required a lot of unnecessary precision, and the wave parts were harder than everything else. One huge problem with this level is its transitions. Most transitions were just straight up RNG. A shame, since I love Zeronium. The first extreme I beat in one session. I also don't remember much since I beat it years ago, but I can say everything about this level just screams slightly below average. Both the deco and the gameplay are just with some slight annoyances, like the ball and the wave at the pre-drop. I literally learned this, left for vacation for a week, came back and beat it in less than an hour. So I can't say too much about this level. I will say that the last wave being that difficult is pretty stupid. The song is a complete banger though, kinda just a mid-level. Nowhere near my favorite, but also not my least favorite either. Another just average level I can't say too much on, but there are parts in this level that just did not work. Prime example being 53 to 60%. I almost fluked the level from 19, but of course not. However, the song is great and the deco is pretty cool. The sync works pretty well too. Another disappointment. Watching a lot of Extremes tier lists, everyone seems to put this level very high. I just didn't find it that fun, I don't know. Definitely a mindset thing, as I was only beating it to beat it rather than to enjoy it like everyone else. Which, to be fair, isn't the level's fault, but I still found the gameplay to be pretty weird. The wave dash row part at 35, I just couldn't get to work 100% of the time. Same goes for the duel at 62%, but oh well. Some of the worst luck I've had on any level. Severely underrated difficulty wise, in my opinion should be around 700. Very second half heavy as well. A shame, since I think this level's pretty cool, just very unbalanced. The deco is just okay in my opinion, nothing special. Syncs pretty well though. Man, this level had so much potential. It looks incredible and the core gameplay is pretty fun. But dude, it just seems like the creators and playtesters just made a ton of bad decisions putting this level together. The first third of the level is quite literally 10 times harder than the rest. Definitely the worst balancing on any extreme I've beaten. Even though this is my hardest as of now, it's just so forgettable. This level taught me a lot about level design. Don't use the balance easing, turn on fixed radius collision, and balance your fucking level. Despite my atrocious luck, dying past 56 around 100 times, I still found this kind of fun. The gameplay was very satisfying, but only when you're at peak consistency. Consistency with this level came in short bursts, as I got far a lot for around 20 minutes and then had all my confidence shot down in the matter of seconds. Not to mention the inconsistent deco style, really inaccurate hitboxes, horrible balancing, and choke points in the middle of the second half. I've seen a lot of Bloodbath hate recently, and I can kinda see why. Keyword being kinda, since I don't really think this level's that bad. I will say though that the first half is pretty dumb. Michigan is the obvious spotlight here. I found the second half quite fun, especially Etzer and Asonic. If I could record back then, this would have been my first list demon, as it was 135 when I beat it. Just a fun fact. I'll never forget Idols for one specific reason. My shadow play was only set to record 3 minutes for some reason, and the level is 4 minutes long, meaning I didn't get the full recording. So I just ended up rebeating it. One thing about this level is that it's extremely learny, when it really didn't have to be. There are a lot of blind clicks and bad transitions, which make the level a lot more learny than it has to be. But once you learn everything and get consistent, which can take some time, it gets really fun. I love the theme of this level. The deco and song work together really well. However, the pre-drop is so boring. It just drags on for way too long, which got very frustrating. The drop was pretty fun though. At first, I didn't really like the song that much, but to be honest, it grew on me the more I listened to it. This level is such an unfortunate case. It being so short just makes me feel like I'm missing something. I like the theme and the colors, as it's a perfect entry to the rest of the series, but it just falls flat because of the length, and a few gameplay flaws, and I found 32 to 56 a huge chore to get through, making the level just okay for me. I heard a lot of great things about this level, so I decided to give it a try. To be honest, it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. It was still good, don't get me wrong, but it was kinda just frustrating at times. It had some weird gameplay that sometimes didn't work, especially in the lava part around the 60s. The deco could be a little more polished and coherent, but I guess that wasn't what Hypno was going for. I will say though that the song is one of the best songs of all time. Probably bottom 5 worst experiences I've had on the level. On such a good one too. Really unfortunate since I think this level is gorgeous and the core gameplay is pretty fun. Again, like Zettabyte, I beat this level just to beat it, not to enjoy it, which I need to learn to stop doing that. The only parts I found genuine flaws with are Jenkins and Flash. For some reason, I just could not get those parts down, despite how straightforward these look. Still though, it's definitely one of the best looking levels I've played. Great theme and great execution. This level looks really cool, especially for early 2.2. However, I struggled a lot more with this level, mostly because this level is not in my skill set. I found this level really choke point heavy, especially in the first half, as the second half is literally free compared to the first half. This made getting far kind of a pain to go through, but it doesn't take away the cool vibe it has going though. Man, I wanted to like this level more, as I'm a big fan of Nexel and their work. I still love the deco and the colors, great use of pulses and block design. However, the gameplay for me was honestly really frustrating. The pre-drop was a little too long, to the point where it got very boring from zero. But the main culprit was the duel. Oh my god, this part would just not work. No matter what I tried, nothing worked besides straight up luck. My first ever recorded List Demon, and I didn't really like this one. My first hardest I've disliked in a very long time. This level was very unbalanced, as the pre-drop was very difficult, and the waves were literally super ultra demon. Of course, my recording software only recorded a black screen when I first beat it, but I ended up rebeating it in one session a few days later, which honestly I had a fun time with. Over time, this level has really grown on me. If this video was made half a year earlier, this would have been much lower. Man, I was so disappointed with this level. I had really high expectations since everyone and their mom loves this level, but unfortunately, I just found it really annoying. The structuring during the wave parts added a lot of unnecessary difficulty that made it 10 times more annoying. The rest of the drop parts were kind of stupid, I don't know. But hey, the deco is really cool, and the song representation is spot on, which is why the level isn't much lower. Another list demon I just couldn't record because of my old garbage PC. This was 99 on the list back when I beat it in 2021. It was incredibly influential to my GD career, as this was the level to make me really want to challenge myself more. Great level by the way. The balancing was a little weird, but that kinda worked since the second half was much easier, which is my preferred balancing. Michigan's part still kinda sucks though. This level does not deserve the amount of hate it gets. Despite it being quite the opposite of my skill set, I didn't find it as bad as everyone says it is. I will admit the entire level was very awkward though, as gimmick timings are always awkward as hell, but they were surprisingly doable. There are also a lot of skips in this level, making the level much more bearable. I also love the theme and the song as well. A good send-off for Krone. I'll start off with the good things. The deco, theming, execution, and core gameplay are all amazing. Everything flows insanely well, and every effect looks so good. Zeronium did an amazing job with this. However, I was so frustrated playing through this level. The pre-drop was horrible to get inconsistent at, as it was just dumb timings that I never got used to. Every death made me feel like an absolute idiot, especially when I died somewhere in the drop. But hey, besides the gameplay flaws, this level is really well put together. This level's great. It works really well as a moment sequel, and I'm a big fan of this decoration style. There are a few balancing issues, like every single wave in this level is pretty weird and hard to get down. The pre-drop was also much harder than everything else. Also, I just got very lucky, fluking this level from 42%. Definitely was my favorite extreme at the time I beat it. I mean, how can you not like this level? The gameplay was really fun to learn and execute throughout. The balancing was great, besides the UFO, but it was doable. It has so much aura and completely fits the name. This level is really fun. The gameplay is really satisfying and the deco is really nice. The song is such a banger as well. It's my favorite YOASOBI song by far, and this level did the song justice for sure. There are a few balancing issues despite the balance update. Some parts were clearly harder than others, like the entire part at 53, which was pretty awkward, but it wasn't too bad. Crazy how long this level took to get rated. It definitely deserved it. My biggest fluke on an extreme, fluking it from 35%. Despite it being kind of a joke level, it played surprisingly well. The sync worked great and the level was really fun overall. Except for the first cube, that part sucks. Oh, the dumb CBF blocker that I didn't know existed until I looked up a video because I couldn't get past the last click. My first ever real memory extreme. After you learn it, it gets super consistent and satisfying. I went into this level having high expectations because it seemed like everyone likes this level, and man, it did not disappoint at all. But I did get kinda lucky at the end, only dying to the UFO 4 times, all being at 90%. I should try out more memory extremes in the future. This was a level I never expected to beat until I randomly remembered it existed and beat it in a day. The sync works really well, which is honestly pretty uncommon for an extreme in my opinion. There are some clicks that are a little off sync, but not by much. It's kind of just a throw your head against it level and eventually you get there, which normally I don't like, but for some reason this level made it work. Despite everything everyone says about this level playing horrible in 2.2, I honestly didn't have much of a problem with it. I'm sure I would have had a better time if I was playing in 2.1, but it wasn't that bad. I was doing runs to 100 at an insanely fast rate, to the point where I thought it was only going to take a few days. However, it took a lot longer than I thought. There were a few choke points like the wave at Augie's part and the entirety of Icehane's part, but I definitely think this level is still amazing, even in 2.2. I don't really remember much, as it's another stream I beat years ago. Just a good level with fun and unique gameplay. I'm surprised that Lexi and Ice Cave are able to make constant speed changes work. The deco is also really cool, as I love the sleek and simple design it went for. The first completion I was able to record to get footage for. I've always had this level on my radar ever since it came out, and it was really fun to learn and get runs on. It did get a little frustrating at the end, but I never seemed to get too bored or too mad at it. Both the decoration and the song are phenomenal as well. Also, don't put spikes in the wall and wave parts, it just adds unnecessary difficulty to your level, which just makes everything more annoying. I picked this level because I heard it was just an easier Kuzureta, and it was exactly that. I'm a big fan of YOASOBI and their songs, and Nintendo did a great job of making it a fun experience. This level is synced so well that if you know the song well enough, you can learn the entire level extremely fast to the point of almost sight reading it, which makes you feel incredible. I picked this level up because I heard it was easy and I'm a fan of the song. I love flowy gameplay and this level does it really well. It was pretty forgiving, especially in the first half. The biggest problem I have lies in the second half. On full detail, it's impossible to see the spikes and structures. Everything just kind of blends in with each other, making it a lot harder than it should be. But in the end, I just got lucky and had an amazing experience. I found out about this level strictly because of the song. I play Osu quite a lot, and I know this song really well. This level flows so well to the point where your brain can just kind of take a backseat, which is great. The only part I didn't really like was the ending, since it was a bit of a choke point and it sticks out like a sore thumb. But other than that, an amazing level. Finally, a Zeronium level I actually like. Zeronium is really good with particles and effects, and this level showcases that. The sync was really fun and it worked really well. I heard the wave at 40 was a big choke point, but honestly it wasn't that bad. In fact, that part is probably the most satisfying part of the whole level. Also, can this get rated please? This level is like objectively one of the best extremes in the game. The gameplay is so satisfying and works with the music. I did find the pre-jump to be a bit annoying though, specifically the first ship part, the dual wave and Zoria's part, and the entirety of Hub Pegasus part. The song is an absolute banger, and the level did the song justice for sure. I don't understand the hate for this level. I love this level to death, and I'm so happy I was able to beat it. All in under 9k attempts too. Even though I got really unlucky, dying a lot past Viperin, including 3 deaths at the last ship, I never got mad at it no matter how many times I played. The only bad parts were Destasy and Lizard Chick's parts. I just had an amazing experience overall. I can see why people would like Artificial over Altered, but honestly that was not the case for me. I adore this level so much. I already like Artificial, but this level just takes everything that Artificial does well and cranks it up to 11. Every part I disliked about Artificial were completely fixed in this level. For example, Michigan's part isn't as awkward, Anthrax's part is more visible, and Speed's part is just a lot better. The deco is also gorgeous. I'm sure this is mostly due to Doggy's update, as he did an amazing job of balancing and fixing. When I think of consistency, this is the level that comes to mind. This level is hands down the most consistent level I've ever played. It's also up there for the most satisfying level I've ever played too. This level takes muscle memory gameplay and does it in the absolute best way possible, to the point where you can bash your head against it until it works, which somehow this level made that fun. Some parts did defy this though, like the Q part at 42 and the duel at 73, but I would get to those parts every attempt anyway, so it didn't matter much. I decided to pick this up because I beat Shimmer, and I wanted to beat the other half of Coalescence. Man, this didn't disappoint at all. I loved fast CPS gameplay, and this level is probably my favorite to ever do it. Although I did find the pre-jump to be pretty boring, and the wave at 35 to be a bit awkward, but every other part more than makes up for it. I would have beaten this level in around 7k attempts if I didn't die to the literal last click, but I'm still happy I got this done in under 10k. Oh boy, where do I start? I know this level gets a ton of hate, and I can 100% see why. I mean, this level's full of bugs and inconsistencies, but I ended up getting extremely lucky, not experiencing pretty much a single bug. I also spent time learning how to get past each bug, which most of them are 100% avoidable. I also took this level extremely slow, and made sure I stopped playing whenever I got frustrated, so my mindset for this level was at an all-time high. I still do recognize its shortcomings, like Nlex and Psycheron's parts being pretty bad, but that definitely never changed my thoughts about the rest of the level. I remember when this level first came out. I knew from that day on that I would beat this one day. So glad I was able to get to it now. 100% my favorite level when it comes to decoration. I mean, every effect looks so good. The gameplay from 38 onwards is so fun, as it didn't take much effort to do runs to 100. The first third is a different story though. I found that part to be pretty boring and a chore to get through. For example, I had a terrible time with the first wave at 9%, as it was very awkward to get down. However, I just can't ignore how amazing the rest of the level is. If you know me, you should 100% know about my love for Bloodlust. Despite my atrocious luck and horrible fails, dying to the extension 116 times, including 3 deaths at the last jump, I still love this level to death. It has incredible balancing, super satisfying, and very consistent, to the point where I was getting to the extension back to back to back. A few parts were pretty stupid, like Zaro, Willy 5000, and of course Nicro, but I will never forget this level for what it did for me and my community. Although Bloodlust is probably my favorite extreme in the game, that's mostly because of personal bias. However, without that bias, this level takes the cake for the best extreme I've beaten. It's my favorite theme extreme in the game, as it perfectly executes the theme Jonathan was going for. Every part, while being very different from each other, all fit in is incredibly cohesive. This level is a complete emotional roller coaster, as it makes you feel emotions no other level has, and the song just wraps everything up perfectly. While the pre-jump was admittedly pretty boring, I honestly didn't mind because the rest of the level was just absolute cinema. And yeah, that's it. The link to my entire Extreme Demon spreadsheet will be in the description, so check that out if you're interested. Be sure to check out my Twitch if you want to see some of these completions live. Again, thank you to Technical for inspiring this video. Well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.